Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I'm bringing you a juicy Dragonknight build. For our race, we are going to be a Dark Elf. The races I recommend running here would be like Wood Elf or Nord for more tankiness. And let's jump right into our attributes. For attributes here, we're putting 40 points into maximum magicka, and then 24 points into health and 0 into stamina. This allows us to get 23,000 maximum stamina, 29k max health with 18k max stamina. Our mag recovery is going to be 1500, with our stamina recovery being 1400, and our weapon damage being 4000. Our weapon critical is 24%, with our penetration being 6100. Our physical and spell resist is 17k, with our crit resist being 1800. Our stats fully buffed up will be 5400 weapon damage, 1800 stamina recovery, 2000 magic recovery, with 25,000 physical and spell resistance. Our Montage stone here, I chose from the Atronach just for the extra sustain it gives. If you want a bit more tankiness, the Lady is another great option. Or if you want some more damage, you can definitely rock the Warrior Montage stone. For our food, we are going to be rocking Smokebear Haunts. But if you are broke and poor, you have to run Jewels of Mistral. It basically does the exact same thing as Smokebear Haunts. It's just a lot more affordable. If you don't have the money, you should definitely run Jewels of Mistral instead. And then we are a Vampire Stage 3. A Vampire Stage 3 is a must for every PvP build. And that is just simply because of the Undeath passive right here. You reduce your damage taken by 30% based on your missing health. This is very good because it gives you an insane amount of tankiness when you start dropping HP. Overall, very tanky, and it's very good to have. Our advanced stats are 5,000 for break free cost, 3,500 for roll dodge, their crit damage being 6%, and our critical healing also being 6%. Onto our sets here, rocking one piece Baron here for the extra mag and stamina recovery. If you want some more damage or defense here, you can rock whatever monster set you want. I like to rock this one because it allows me to get some more sustain, which I think is just better than the other options for this build, and I really do enjoy it. For our front bar here, we are running Draken with charged and Nernhole here, flame with poison. We rock those glyphs because it allows us to proc our combustion here. When you apply burning to an enemy, you restore 1000 magicka, and when you apply a poison to the enemy, you restore 1000 stamina. These effects occur once every 3 seconds, but they can both proc simultaneously. The same one cannot proc within 3 seconds. That's why I like to run flame damage here and poison here, and then of course charge the Nernhone with double maces. The set here will be Draken. Draken is very good. What Draken does is Draken increases your damage done by 330, but reduces your healing taken by 10%. This is very good because this increases all the damage from your dots, from Blood Craze, Flames of Oblivion, Molten Whip, Elemental, and Degeneration here. These all get an insane amount of damage increase from this set alone. And then we're going to be pairing that with Dragon's Appetite here. This also increases your damage done to bleeding enemies by 225, and then you also get a 9,000 heal basically every 5 seconds. So it's a very nice heal to have. It gives you quite a bit of extra survivability, which I do very like. For our back bar here, we're going to be running a Bait Strand for effective Ice Staff. I chose to run Powered here for the additional healing, and then Absorb Magicka Enchant just to give us some extra sustain on the back bar. This gives us a bunch of damage through a nice dot through using Elemental here. As you can see this by switching bars, it drops drastically in damage. On our back bar, it's only 1200. On our front bar, it goes up to 1800. Part of that is Draken here, just giving us that juicy 330 damage. But as another example here on the front bar, this does 15,000 damage over 20 seconds. But if I just remove my waist, you will see that this damage drops to 11,500. So it does give you a very substantial amount of damage. By running Draken combined with Dragons here, your dot pressure is very high. Then for our mythic here, I chose to run Sea Serpent Coil. I really like this mythic because it's very stat dense. It gives you 10% overall damage from Major Berserk, and on top of that you get 430 weapon and spell damage from Major Courage, so your damage is very high just from one mythic alone, and that is why I really like running Sea Serpent Coil. We are running an infused reduce magicka cost glyph here. And then we're running 2 infused rings with magicka spell damage glyph here for just more damage. I like the reduce cost glyph here because it just allows us to have very good sustain. If you want some more damage, you can definitely do so, but I just prefer the extra sustain that a reduced magicka cost gives us. We are running 3 medium on our boots, legs, and arms, 1 light on our waist here. These are all impen. Then reinforced heavy, helmet, and shoulders here with all prismatic glyphs.
If you do not have the money, I recommend getting the prismatic glyphs on our head, chest, and legs here, since those are the big pieces, and that is where you will see the biggest result. If you don't have the money, that's why I would definitely recommend getting the prismatic glyphs first. Onto our skills here. For our first skill is going to be Molten Whip. This is just the bread and butter of a DK here. Nothing else to be said. I love Shattering Rocks. Shattering Rocks is a very strong CC. It can go through block and cannot be dodged, so it's very, very good. Race Against Time is our form of Major Expedition, but if you don't really want to run that, Burning Embers is another great skill to run here. It does a bunch of damage and it gives you a nice big heal, so just keep that in mind. Blood Craze here is a must, since this does allow us to use Dragon's Appetite. It's a pretty good dot and it gives us a nice little heal. Plains of Oblivion, this is our source of Major Prophecy here. It also does a bunch of damage, so it's very nice. Ferocious Leap here, this is definitely the ult you want to run on your front bar because it does a big chunk of damage, and on top of that, after you leap, you get a juicy damage shield that gives you a very good amount of survivability. Then onto our back bar here. Our back bar running Elemental, this is a must because you have to run this due to Vaystrand, but it does give you the Burning, Chilled, and Concussive status effects every 7.5 seconds. That's very good, and it's our source of Major Breach, which gives us 6k penetration. That's super good, and it's free, so it's a very strong ability. Degeneration here, this is our source of Major Brutality, and it's a nice dot. Resolving Vigor gives us a good heal over time and gives us Minor Resolve, increasing our physical and spell resistance by 3000 for 20 seconds. Flagellating Bud does our main heal. Then Volatile Armor, I chose this morph because it pairs well with Draken and Dragon's Appetite, giving it even more damage. As you can see here on the back bar, it only does 8000 damage every 20 seconds. But on the front bar here, it goes up to 12,000. I go even higher with Dragons, so it's more doing like 13 or 14,000 damage over 20 seconds. That's another very good dot. And then for our back bar, we are running Corrosive. In my opinion, DK's best ult, one of the best ultimates in the entire game. Basically makes you an unkillable god. It also does a good amount of damage over 12 seconds. And all your attacks ignore physical and spell resistance, so you just absolutely shred people. Very broken ultimate in my opinion. Onto our CP here. For our first CP, we're running Ironclad. This is just here to make us more tanky. Thermaturge to increase our damage with damage over time effects. Deadly Aim, just more damage. And Master Arm, just once again more damage. Maximum damage here. Our Red Tree, we are running Sustained by Suffering, Pain Refuge, Relentless, and Survival Instinct. Since we will always have a negative effect on us in PvP, Pain Refuge and Sustained by Suffering will be up 100% of the time, so they are very useful because of that. And then Survival Instinct, when afflicted with a status effect, your core combat skills will cost 25% less. This gives us just a bunch of extra sustain, which allows us to survive more. And then Relentless here, this is a form of Major Protection. Whenever you get feared or stunned, you gain Major Protection for 3 seconds, reducing your damage taken by 10%. This is very good because the majority of the time you will be taking a lot of damage when you get feared or stunned. So getting that nice 10% damage reduction on when you're getting feared or stunned is very useful to helping you survive. And then for our green CP, we're running War Mount, Gifted Rider, Breakfall, Ratchet, and Liquid Efficiency. Now I want to quickly showcase how the build's played. It's relatively simple. You just start by opening up with Generation with all your buffs popped on the back bar, so like Vigor and Volatile. Start Generation into the Elemental here to Proctivate, into the immediate Blood Craze, then Plains of Oblivion, and then you just whip, and then you just Shadow Rocks into whip, and you just repeat that process over and over again. You also try and hit them with the Volatile to get that dot up. You just want to always make sure your Blood Craze up because it allows you to, because Dragon Appetite will only proc when Blood Craze is up. So you want to make sure that is always on your opponent. Always try and land Volatile and keep all your dots up as much as possible, because that is our main source of damage. And then you can just choose either pop Ferocious Leap or Corrosive. Corrosive, if you can, always save up for Corrosive. Corrosive is just too good not to pass up. You only want to generally use Leap here to gap close, or if you have no other choice and you need that shield and to get all your resources back. But otherwise, I would always try and save for Corrosive, because when Corrosive is up, you just absolutely melt through people because you have so much just raw penetration that you just shred through people. And it just makes you so tanky. If you have any questions regarding the build, I'll be happy to answer anything down in the comments below. And if you did enjoy the video, it would mean a lot to me if you hit that like button and subscribe.